let's make lemonade. Okay. Let's go to work.
That's the signal. Go. 6. It's beautiful. Mother Nature just pissed her pants, dude!
Start your day with a jolt of energy and no-holds-barred opinions. This is The Rush, where Travis Justice and Ross Peterson bring you bold, unfiltered, and uncensored takes on sports, life, and everything in between. Buckle up, and let's go.
We have a busy morning here on the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. Happy Wednesday, everybody. I'm Travis Justice. If you're listening on the Rush Radio app, thank you so much. If you're listening at therushradio.com, we also appreciate that. If you're watching on YouTube, give this channel a subscription, give the video a like, start leaving your comments in the comments section. You can follow us on X, Facebook, and Instagram. Roscoe Peterson. Hello, sir.
What's up, buddy?
You know, just gearing up for what is a very, very busy Wednesday. Not just here on the show, but my life, as soon as this show's over, is like occupied until like 5 o'clock this afternoon. So it's going to be one of those days that flies by. I think I even wrote in the pre-show notes, this show's going to fly by.
Yeah. Yeah, you have a lot of stuff. I have a lot of rabbit holes.
Yeah.
So buckle up.
And then at 7 o'clock, Kyle Peterson from ESPN going to be joining us. Of course, the Iowa baseball team at home this weekend, trying to lock up the Big Ten regular season championship, taking on number 5 Oregon. Number 5 Oregon is in town. And then at 7:30, Sam Bernabe, the general manager of the Iowa Cubs, going to be joining us. His 42nd year as the general manager of the Iowa Cubs. I got to thinking, he was 12 years old when I was 12 years old when he started that job.
He was 11. He was 11. Exactly.
He was 11. You know, so it'd be good to catch up with Sam. I sent him everything yesterday. He's like, I'll try to do this. I'm like, come on, you've done a video call before. It's not that hard. Just don't. You can do it. Just click the link. It's that simple. You know, on Sunday you swore you were never going to golf again.
Saturday too.
Saturday you swore I'm done golfing. I'm never going to golf again. And then
told you Monday I'm never golfing.
Yeah, and then yesterday you got on the links and you're out there golfing again.
And I'm back, baby.
I told you yesterday. I said, here's the deal. Ross is going to go on the course tomorrow. He's going to play the round of his life and say, I'm back.
Didn't play the round of my life, but you know what? You know what the golf gods did on the very first hole. Swear to God. And I smoked my driver yesterday all day long. Right, I was hitting it very well down the middle of the fairway. I birdied the first hole.
Oh,
I'm never golfing again. Whack. Okay, so that's one good shot. All day, that's one good shot. Chip, it rolls up within about 6 inches of the cup. Okay. Maybe I'm Whiter Woods.
Whiter Woods. I like that. Whiter Woods.
The dude at the course, I walked in. Because I walked in, the guy's like, how you doing today? I said, hot, miserable. I suck at golf. I don't know why I'm here. And I walked in at the end of the day, and they're like, how you doing? I said, I think I'm amazing. That was the best round ever. And the guy goes, Whiter Woods. It's like, yeah, that's me. You recognize me.
And the crazy thing is, if you compare yesterday's round of golf with the one you played last Saturday, it was probably a millimeter in your foot stance that was making all the difference in how bad your shots were.
Who knows? Yeah, something. Who knows what it is? Golf is a weird game. I had fun. Had a great time with Justin. I had something amazing happen on the course, and I truly mean one of my favorite small world things that's I've ever experienced, man. So Justin's buddy Peyton golfs with him from time to time. Peyton's just learning the game. A lot of fun to be around. But again, just learning the game. So the three of us get up to the tee box. They announce, Justin Miller, threesome, along with the Quincy solo. And here comes this young black kid, very athletic looking young man, comes walking up. You Quincy? Yep, I'm Quincy. Nice to meet you. Where are you from? Des Moines. Cool. Where'd you go to school? Well, went to the middle school that's right by my house. I'm like, oh, you grew up right where I live. But I went to Hoover, he says. I said, oh. and I say younger, he's probably in his 30s. Okay. He's early 30s. Looks like mid 20s. You know what I mean? Very athletic looking, young looking kid. Owns his own business. Impressive dude. Like, wait a minute, man. You went to Hoover in 2010. You don't know my buddy Charles Zanders, do you? We've had Charles Zanders on, right? He was the basketball coach at Hoover at that time. Dude, this kid's name is Quincy King. That name is going to ring a bell to people who remember. Charles Zanders had an amazing run with this basketball team in that 2010 era. And Quincy King was one of the kids on that team. They had Dwight Sistrunk, a kid named Reggie White, a kid named Kelly Madison went and played at William Penn. They were really, really good. I know you. I covered your games, man. That's really cool. Here's the neat thing about it. And I'm telling Quincy, I know your coach Charles, but I really got to know Charles through his brother Brian. You and I have talked about Brian. Brian was a national champion wrestler at Nebraska Omaha. He and I worked together one summer when I was still in high school, and I just loved Brian. Haven't seen Brian in 20 years, but that's really cool. So I take a photo with Quincy. I send it over to Zanders. I'm like, dude, got paired with a random at Grandview today. You won't believe it. He writes back, love that young man. Love him. I'm so glad you're with him. Great kid. Best to ever do it at one of the best to ever do it at Hoover High School is what he said. And that's true. Quincy was a baller. So he and I'm going to reconnect with you. This is fun. Maybe we should go golfing with Charles sometimes, that sort of thing. We're on the 18th tee box, Trav.
So you've already played 17 holes. You're on the home stretch, man.
Off the course, dude. We're on the 18th tee box. And another group, if you know Grandview, another group ends on 11, which is right. Yeah, they got to come right by our tee box to get over to 12. And as they come by, one of the gentlemen in this group says, Quincy. And Quincy's like, oh, he gets up and he shakes hands with this guy and he kind of knows some of these dudes and they're kind of talking on this other tee box. Quincy comes back to me. He says, hey, that's Xander's dad. Travis.
Wow.
I turn around and my buddy Brian, who I have not seen in 20 years, is standing there golfing with his dad. Charles Xander's brother and dad are standing there golfing. Brian and I got to sit and chat for just a few, you know what I mean? Reconnect for a second. So he's like, well, so I'm going to have to now got to set up a golf thing with Charles Zanders and these guys. It was such a small world thing, man. I don't want to get all philosophical with you. Okay. But my wife and I have had these discussions. Do you think that is total coincidence? Because we don't believe in coincidence. No.
That happened for a reason.
Absolutely did.
What do you think it is?
I don't know. Who knows? I'll find out.
Wow.
Yeah. I've completely believed that. Yeah. That's the universe. And then Brian is like, Brian said they have a younger brother, Pierce, that I knew as well and grew up with. Brian's like, Pierce and I were just talking about you the other day. That's the universe going, you got to get this. I said the same thing about Charles. Remember when we reached out to Charles? I'm like, man, we don't talk to this guy enough. Fun dude to talk to. Good guy to talk to. So anyway, that was my small world story yesterday of running into an old athlete that I used to cover, reaching out to his coach, and then running into an old friend from years ago.
That is absolutely crazy. And you're right. Putting something out in the universe. Now, wishing is one thing, but if you put something out, it's amazing how things can manifest itself. I mean, if you read the book by Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, you still have to take action. But your first action is putting it out into the universe. That's the secret, right? Can
I tell you that another one of those golf things happened yesterday that just doesn't piss you off, but it humbles you. That's the right word for it. It humbles you. Quincy's an athlete. I mean, this kid, he started his career, got recruited by Hoiberg to go to Iowa State. He had a bunch of injuries, but this kid's an athlete, all right? Can smoke a ball. He's good putter, great chipper. He started golfing last year.
Yeah. But see, that's what we say about just natural athletes,
it's
right?
It's just an athlete. He's an athlete.
Yeah,
he's figuring it out.
when you have natural ability, it just kind of comes faster to you.
Yeah.
Was he a better golfer than you?
Oh, yeah.
You've been golfing for 20 years.
Me, Justin, and Peyton, we're there to have fun. We play best ball.
Oh.
Yeah, we just play because that way, if Peyton hits a bad drive, you know what I mean? We just pick it up on the way and we just take it to, for the most part, right? I got my birdie on the first hole. And I was like, Justin, I'm just going to play my own ball for a while. I bet by the fourth hole, I'm doing best ball with you guys again. I did best ball on the third hole.
Yeah, because you double bogeyed or triple bogeyed hole number 2.
Yeah, I think I had a bad chip or, had a couple bad putts. I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going 18 under. Might as well have fun. But I'm back, baby. You're back.
You're back. I'm glad you're back. I didn't think you'd be gone for long. That I was never convinced of that. So
yeah, it's my first time quitting forever. I'll tell you this. I'm going to warn you. I quit chewing forever probably 15 times.
Yes. I remember I was there each and every time.
You were there for a lot of them.
Yes.
There were a lot of times I was like, I'm never chewing again. Ever. Done. Forever.
And then you'd come in for sound off and you'd be like, hey,
I'm back, baby.
I'm back, baby. I'm back. Ready to go. Ross, I'm 54 years old, and I feel my fandom changing. Okay? I feel my fandom changing. I am becoming attracted, should we say, to Indianapolis. And I credit Tyrese Halliburton, and I credit Caitlin Clark for doing this. And it's just not a Fever thing. It is now turning into a Pacers thing. And so I'm in a restaurant last night. I'm with my brother Nick, my wife. We decided to meet up and have a little dinner. And I put my back to the crowd so I could watch TV. I'm sitting there watching the Pacers game, watching Tyrese Halliburton. You know, the Cavs jump out to a big lead after the first quarter, and then Indianapolis cuts it to 6 at half, and then starts pulling away in the third and fourth quarters. And Indianapolis beats Cleveland 114-105. Tyrese with a great game. He had 31 points, 8 assists, 6 rebounds. And I'm like, I think I'm starting to become an Indianapolis fan. But that shows you what connection can do. And you look at what Tyrese did at Iowa State and the way he embraced the university. Caitlin Clark, no different. And you're like, okay, am I an Indianapolis fan? Or am I a fan of these two that are just making me fans of the Pacers and the Fever?
Connection. Travis, over and over and over. We'll keep saying that word, don't we? Connection. Tyrese Halliburton does a great job with it. Caitlin Clark obviously is special. It's funny, man. You said that. For some reason, my brain went backwards into like Bob Sanders, Dallas Clark. There has been Pat Angerer. There's been a Colts, an Indiana connection, I should say. Let's broaden it out because Colts is too specific. Doesn't include these things. I know a lot of people that are Indiana fans of some sort. Now, obviously, Caitlin Clark has sent it to a whole new level,
100%
with the Fever, and with Halliburton. I think my fear with that is we love Tyrese Halliburton, not the Indiana Pacers.
True.
And in the NBA, it'll be rare if Tyrese Halliburton plays the next decade at Indiana. I hope he does because again, that connection is something that is rare, and I hope they understand that and nurture it. That's a good point, Trav. And you have something in the rundown here. I'm not sure if you want to get to this now.
Well, I was going to transition into this. So you had the Cavs advance to the Eastern Conference Finals last night. They're going to play either the Knicks or the Celtics, most likely the Knicks, because the Celtics, Jason Tatum he ruptured his Achilles. He's going to have surgery, I believe, today. I'm not saying that's the end of the Celtics, but they're down 3-1, coming back from 3-1.
Oh, dude, that's not the end of the Celtics this year. There's an article out from the Boston Globe this morning about this is the end of the Celtics era. Jason Tatum's injury closes the window on what was this championship run.
And that sounds weird, but every team has a window, right? I mean, the Patriots window was extended a long period of time with Tom Brady's long career, but every franchise has a window. Sometimes it's longer than others, but this might be it for the Celtics. But it's fun to watch the Pacers move forward, and more on Halliburton and why I think you're right. It's probably a fan of Tyrese Halliburton because but it makes you want the Pacers to win, so you become a Pacers fan. But it's not just that connection. It is he's an entertainer, right? And not in a cocky way. He goes on Pat McAfee's show. He has fun when he's on the court. He'll be, get in guys' faces a little bit, but it's a little shit talking, which is kind of fun to watch. The way he basically called his dad out, I respected that by going, "Hey, Pops can't do that. We had a word about it." And you go, "Boy, this guy gets it."
Yeah.
So then you're like, "Okay, God, there's something I like about this guy." And then you combine that with Caitlin Clark, which this is absolutely insane. We talk, and if you want to know the Caitlin Clark effect is real, and that Caitlin Clark definitely is the face of the WNBA, there's no doubt about it. I'm not saying she's the best player. I still think A'ja Wilson's the best player. But the face and the reason this thing's going to grow is because of Caitlin Clark. And the Indiana Fever did something brilliant yesterday. Absolutely brilliant. It might be the best marketing move the WNBA has seen since Caitlin Clark came into the league. And you're probably going, well, what is it? Well, the WNBA has local affiliates, right? So they don't have a full TV package. So they have local affiliates. Last year, there was, the Indianapolis affiliate ran Indiana Fever games. Yesterday, they announced they are spreading out the local market to 11 total local markets, spanning from Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky, Illinois, and Iowa. So Davenport will have a local affiliate, and WOI, Channel 5 in Des Moines, will be the local affiliate. That reaches 4.6 million households from Kentucky, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, and Iowa. That is brilliant, Ross. Absolutely brilliant, because you're expanding that footprint and you're doing it for free.
I mean, yes, I don't want to water this down. I just want to have this conversation about the timing of this, because it's 2025 and we are talking about over-the-air TV. But you're right, for free. This is going to be, if you're talking about WOI, that means it'll be on your Hulu packages and all of your local, you'll be able to get this everywhere. This obviously isn't going to have the impact of like the Braves or Cubs that did in the 80s and 90s, but man, it's kind of in that lane. It's in that lane of get your team in front of way more eyeballs. This is in my household, this is a big deal.
I was on the phone. I called you to tell you about this, and the first thing you said is like, "Oh, Audrey's going to love this." And in the background, I heard you go, "What am I going to love, Dad?" And you told her.
Yeah, and she was like, "Oh, cool." I mean, it wasn't groundbreaking for her because she doesn't understand the impact of it, because she sees Caitlin Clark games anyway. But that's a big deal. That's a big deal for my dad. That's a big deal for a lot of people around Iowa who want to watch this Fever team on a regular basis. Travis, you're in that category. You might not notice it, but man, you are like, you're not glued to the WNBA, but man, you're keeping all of us in touch on all of it.
Dean says, "Hey, it's a great idea as long as the studio's blackout rules." There is no blackout. That's what I'm trying to say here. This is a locally produced show. So not all WNBA games are on ESPN, the One Network. They have local production. There's 18 local production games.
Dean did clarify there. He just had a typo. He did say, "Yeah, this is a great idea as long as they don't apply," and they don't, okay. Dean.
They don't. They absolutely don't. And the reason they're doing this, I think there's a lot of deficiencies in the WNBA app. And last year I tried to watch a couple of games on the app, and their app's just not up to par to where you could go on and watch the games. It was lag. The quality wasn't that good. So I credit the Fever going, "Hey, there's an opportunity here. How do you spread the game? You get it to as many people in a regional area that absolutely care. We know Iowa people are going to care."
Yes, and I think that all across Illinois, all those states that you brought up there, what are you really trying to do there, Travis? What with that area? What are you really trying to do? Draw people to the arena. But it's the exact opposite of the blackout rules in Major League Baseball, where Major League Baseball's attitude was, if we don't put the game on TV, people will want to come to the stadium. WNBA is putting their money on the don't pass line. They're saying, no, we want to go the other way. We think if we put our product in front of all these people, that little girls in Iowa are going to say to their moms and dads more often than they do now, can I go see a Caitlin Clark game? Brilliant. Again, not the effectiveness. I last night when you said this to me, my brain instantly went Braves and Cubs, right? Holy cow, it's not going to have that impact, but it's in that lane.
And the reason it won't, because WGN and WTBS were on every major local cable package you could get
across the country. And we were talking about baseball in the 80s.
Yes.
It's a totally different beast. But again, in that vein, lane, avenue, whatever you want to say, they're in that direction. And that's really cool. It's really good for Caitlin Clark. It's a brilliant move by the Fever. They've done really well with this. I don't know if Caitlin Clark's PR team is starting to help them out.
Well, I think you get in a strategy meeting and you go, okay, where are those opportunities that we're not thinking of? Hold on. We have a locally produced TV program. Nobody says we can't sell it or give it to other markets. Let's just do that.
Travis, you might just touched on something there. Are they selling it to local markets? Are they selling it?
Well,
and by the way, WOY would be smart to buy it.
Yes. So, yeah, I mean, each local affiliate is going to have some in-game advertising opportunities. So it probably depends on the inventory you want. Most Indianapolis advertisers don't care that they're advertising in Iowa, right? So there's going to be local ad time. I would say if they and I don't know, Ross, I can't answer that if they are selling it. But hell, in year one, I would say, hey, we'll offer this for free. Because what's going to turn around is people are going to turn around to buy Fever gear. They may go to Indianapolis, as you said, to get them in the arena. Or if anything, you help offset the satellite cost, if there are any, to get it up in space so people can watch it. But
I've got
minimal.
We have some friends that might be in the know on how that contract worked. I just sent out a text to see if I could find out how that worked, because I could see. I mean, if the Fever just were say, "Hey, we're giving this thing away for free," then everybody. I mean, I would think that all three local affiliates would have fought for it. I don't know. It's a good question. But if it was a bidding war, WOI wouldn't have won it.
That's true. That's very, very true. And who knows and I don't know the answer to this, if the
local affiliate is an ABC
affiliate.
There you go. That could be. We'll see what details we can get. It's a brilliant move, I think. I love it because my little reality that ends at the end of my fingers, it just got better because of this.
Now, keep in mind, this ain't going to last forever. Because what's going to happen is you build momentum, the business model changes, and as soon as there's enough demand, you're going to have to start paying for stuff. Ross, ESPN announced yesterday that the ESPN streaming service is coming in the fall for $29.99 a month. On the same day that ESPN announced that, Fox announced that Fox One is also going to a streaming service in the fall. Will feature all the entertainment, sports, and news content. Now, they're going to stay on Hulu. They're going to stay on YouTube TV for the short term. But keep in mind, the end game here is direct to consumer. So if these things grow at a massive pace, you're going to go, boy, if I want Fox, I'm going to have to spend $30 a month. If I want ESPN, I'm going to have to pay $30 a month. I'm already paying $82 a month for YouTube TV. What do you think the revenues for ESPN in quarter number 2 were? Revenues.
I would have no guess. What
revenues for ESPN in quarter number 2 were $4.8 billion. And it's quarter number 2. For Fox, they were $4 billion. So these guys are bringing in $1 billion of revenue a month. Now, don't confuse revenue with profit.
Yeah, right.
Two different things.
Right.
And when you produce television shows, there's a lot of expense to that. but you get
but Travis, also the contracts for the talent are multi-bajillion-dollar contracts. Yes. The contracts to the schools that have the rights to the logos, those are multi-million dollars. Yes.
So, I mean, there's massive expense that goes along with that. But we're talking about two networks, Fox and ESPN, each had over $4 billion of revenue. That's $8 billion between the two. That doesn't include Netflix. That doesn't include Amazon. That doesn't include Apple. I mean, we're talking billions of dollars a month in just streaming services. Thank God the rushradio.com is free. This is free.
Travis, this, again, when you said this won't last and that it's going to change, right? That the fever thing is what you were saying. Like, yes. Hey, be careful. This fever thing will change because look at the ESPN model. Well, let's look back at the ESPN model, because what I would say is, with this conversation about them all going independent and they're all going to charge us $80 a month and whatever, that too will change. Because in the last 5 years, I've consumed ESPN 7 different ways, right? And I've been charged for it, not charged for it, included in the Hulu package and unincluded from the Hulu package, back on with ABC, Disney. Like, it will change. It'll change. Man, it reminds me of the paying the athletes conversation, because a long time ago, I was really a fan of this. I was like, hey, we should be breaking off. It should go a la carte. Now, it might get more expensive, but it should go a la carte, because then everybody gets what's theirs, right? Then you want to watch National Geographic, you get to watch National Geographic. Well, hold on, they can't produce National Geographic because not enough people watch National Geographic. They have to be subsidized by the ABCs and the NBCs and the big things of the world. And once you start to break it down, then it goes, okay, well, do you want FX so you can watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia? Or do you just want to watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia? Because you can pay for just that if you want. Check out Amazon. You don't have to buy the you don't have to buy the network. Just buy the show. Well, now if I'm buying each individual show at $9 a piece.
Yeah. Then you're like, after you add it up, you're like, I'm probably better off just buying the monthly subscription.
Yeah. I'd call DirecTV again. Hey, can you guys come throw a dish back up on the top of my house? So, Travis, I think keep your eyes open. There's always options available. People are already throwing stuff in the comments. Like, be creative. Be creative. That's what I would encourage people to do. There are ways around it.
Mike says, so the Rush will be subscription someday? No, we will not be. This will always be free internet radio, free on YouTube. We are an advertiser-based business.
But our Patreon package, you can join the show.
We don't have a Patreon. Hell, Ross and I are still trying to figure out this.
Yeah, right. It's slow. Yeah,
it's a slow play. Now, could we later on go, hey, bonus night show or something like that on a Patreon? Maybe. I don't know.
Just give us your money. That's all we want. Just give us your money.
We want your money. First and foremost, this show is the most important thing to us, because we want to make sure we keep going, right? And that's because we get lots of people, thousands of people tune in every day, and we just want to entertain you. We want to have a little bit of fun. And we want to have fun with you by sending you to Shane Gillis. He's coming to Wells Fargo Arena on May 31st. If you want to go see Shane Gillis, who's probably the biggest comic in the world right now, go to therushradio.com. That's therushradio.com. Click on the promotions tab. Fill in that little form there, and you're going to be signed up. We'll be giving away tickets later on this month, and you'll be sitting with Ross and myself in the Choice Creative Suite to watch Shane Gillis.
And Travis promises that I'll be there for the beginning of the night.
for the beginning of the night. Maybe not the end of the night, but the beginning of the night. Ross promised to be there. Kyle Peterson from ESPN coming up at 7 o'clock. Sam Bernabe from the Iowa Cubs at 7:30. It is the Rush Radio Show powered by Willis Automotive.
I'm loving these wooden nickels, Brian.
Yeah, I suppose everyone is catching on.
Just spend $20 to get a wooden nickel.
It's 25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings on your next purchase.
Some of these are worth $5. That could be huge.
I know, right? That's why you have to spend $20.
It's 25.
Collect 10. It's like money back to you.
Spend 20, you get another wooden nickel.
It's 25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings. It's huge.
Central City Liquor is home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the wooden nickel program.
It's huge.
When was the last time you had your alignment checked? If it's been a while, your car could be out of alignment and you wouldn't even know. Improper alignment can lead to poor gas mileage, premature tire wear, and poor grip on the road. That's why we offer free alignment checks with any regular service to ensure your Cadillac can handle whatever the road throws at it. So give us a call or schedule online at williscadillac.com.
Missing a quality home-cooked meal? You know, the kind Mom used to make? Lucky for you, we found her recipe book. Welcome to the High Life. Welcome to the Champagne of Bars.
Looking for the perfect golf escape? Experience links-style golf right here in Ames at Coldwater Golf Links. With rolling fairways, large greens, and unique routing, it's golf the way it's meant to be played. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, you'll love our course's welcoming atmosphere and friendly staff. Grab your clubs, book a tee time, and make every round unforgettable. Coldwater Golf Links, where great golf leads to great memories. Visit coldwatergolf.com to book your round today.
Spring cleaning continues. Come down to Land Rover Des Moines to get your front and rear differential fluid services done for $199.95 each. Preventative maintenance is important to ensure your vehicle runs smoothly down the road. To schedule, give us a call or head online at LandRoverDesMoines.com.
Back to the Rush. Strong opinions, weak filters, and just enough sense to stay on the air. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
I mentioned that we are a advertiser-supported radio show, so the advertisers you see on the show, please give them your support. Tell them you heard about it on the Rush Radio Show. Help us grow. Tell a friend about us. Still a lot of people, Ross and I made the switch from terrestrial radio to internet radio, and, well, here we are.
It is fun, man. It's fun being out and running into people. And I get the full cross-section of people that were like, dude, we were excited on January 27th that you guys were, you know what I mean, on the air. And then I get people that are like, we just heard about you. And then a guy will turn the corner and be like, dude, where you been? Like, here, I'm right here. I promise, I'm right here.
That happened the other day on Instagram. Somebody said, man, I miss you guys on the radio. I said, we're there every day.
We're right there.
We're right there. Pretty, a lot easier to find. Right before we went on the air, I just checked out where everybody was listening from. We had somebody in Manitoba, Canada listening this morning. I was like, damn, who's listening up in Canada?
Okay, now that I might know who that is. It might be my buddy Gary Moeller.
Oh.
Because GM, my buddy that runs Ballard's Resort up there. He runs the Ballard's Black Island. And he tells me that from time to time he's getting, because there's still ice. So they're up on the island getting things ready, and he's told me that he's listened to me from time to time. So that very well could be.
He's still on right now. So Gary, if you're listening in Manitoba, we hear you.
What's up, GM? Love you, brother.
You hear us?
Yep.
Oh, we got somebody listening in Virginia right now, Atlanta, Dallas. That's probably Moose down there in Dallas.
Oh yeah. And we had dude from Iowa was he's down there just getting busy down at the Villages.
Yeah.
He had
Down in
8 more.
Florida?
He had 8 more dates today. He said. And by the way, and dude from Iowa just posted it. He said, I worked with Willis last time. They were great. Willis is fantastic. That's been a big changer for me, is going to the Willis campus. Like I love that you pointed that out, Travis. I went there to get my oil change. They're like, hey, you got a couple nails in the tire, not leaking. Take your time, figure out what you want to do. But I was like, oh yeah, you guys really checked everything. And they pull up and the car's washed and it's got plastic on it. Like, you guys know I'm an East Sider, right?
You don't need to do the plastic.
Like, yeah, but we treat you like you're a West Sider. No matter where you're from, we treat you like you're a West Sider.
Yeah, well, next time use a garbage bag. All right, I don't need real plastic. just throw down a hefty. Just throw down a hefty. That's all I need. I don't know if you saw my tweet last night. Abigail, who's actually coming up on her 6-year anniversary at Ole Miss, she was honored for her 5 years of service to the University of Mississippi yesterday. And she texted me. She goes, yeah, I'm kind of a big deal. And what she was saying is, did you zoom in to see what it was?
I did. That was so cool.
So they listed everybody at the University of Mississippi who was celebrating 5 years of service. And it went
in alphabetical order.
In alphabetical order. So you look at it, and it says Abigail Rose Justice, and then right underneath her, Monty Lane Kiffin. And I'm like, wow, that is so cool. Not that she's met Lane a couple times, actually gave her daughter a tour through the residence halls. But I go, so was Lane at the celebration? Because she got like a little 5-year pin. You know, they give you those gifts. Oh, here's your 5 years of service pin.
Wait,
goes,
wait.
Lane,
if you work places for a period of time, they give you gifts.
Oh yeah, yeah. Do you know what we get at MCL Construction? Money. We get money.
Huh?
Yeah.
You get money?
Money. Money.
I was listening to a congressional thing the other day, and they were talking about how the ICE agents get a bonus of $45,000. Bonus, and they were talking about the average American gets a bonus of $2,500 a year.
How many bonuses did you get at iHeartMedia?
I think in my 20 plus years, maybe 1 or 2 cash bonuses. I think there were 2. They were no more than a couple $100. We had one that was like where they were like, we're giving away Christmas gifts. I'm not kidding, and it was like gift cards. It was like a gift card to the gas station.
So they traded out your bonus.
And one of our ladies that worked there that I loved dearly, her name was Gail. She wouldn't care because she's badass. Gail Goebel was her name. She worked at the Capitol for many years. She didn't take no shit, dude. She was one of those ladies. She refused the gift. Like, wrote an official email. Like, keep it.
My TV job, when I was the sports director at the Fox affiliate in Omaha, I hit the 5-year mark, right? And they gave me a clock. And after the celebration, I'm like, hey, because I did a similar thing. They give me a sheet that says, oh, you're going to be taxed on said gift.
That's was exactly why she was like, I'm not taking it.
Yeah, I go,
you guys just going to tax me for it.
Yeah, you're going to tax me on a $200 clock or whatever it cost. I don't need another clock in my house. Ross still looking around.
I'm looking for my gifts, dude. I'm looking for my stuff. There's got to be more stuff. Yeah. I do have one thing that I got one time, but I earned it. They didn't give it to me. I earned it.
What was that? I'm anxious to see or hear exactly what you got.
All right. So I was the employee of the year.
Wow.
You wouldn't guess that from a guy who got fired twice. But I was the employee of the year. Whoopsie. Back in 2004. Look at that.
Yeah, but that's when it was Clear Channel. That's when it still had a soul.
Oh, God, no. We just changed the name, dude. We went from Burger King to Whopperville. Was all we did was change the name. And it was the same burgers.
Burger King to Whopperville.
Here's the funny thing about this, okay? When they presented me with the award for the 2004 MVP, it was this awesome, beautiful, giant star trophy thing. It was like a big crystal deal. I was like, oh, that's awesome. Here's what they did to, I swear to God.
They took it away.
They're like, Ross, congratulations. And being Jim Zabel, all these people I admire are there like clapping for me. And I win the major. I was like, it was a huge moment for me. They're like, hey, the trophy didn't get fully glazed. So it didn't get fully finished. We need to take it back to the trophy guy. And then we're going to give it to, we'll get it back to you. I was like, oh, okay, that's fine.
You never saw it again.
Never saw that trophy again. And about 6 months later, they gave me this.
You should have wrote and said, that's not what you presented me the night of the event.
Cool. Glad I got the photos of the other thing. I should have seen that as an indication of things to come.
Was that for the Des Moines Marker? Or was that for all of Clear Channel?
No, that's just Des Moines. Okay. Let's slow down.
Well, you and I are, not to brag, humble brag here. I forget. I think it was like 2004 or 5. I was the Emmis Communications Television Talent of the Year. Company wide.
Yes.
Yeah.
Look at us. We are award winners.
Yes.
We used to say on the Chris and I used to say in the afternoon, we're award deserving. It's award deserving radio, not award winning, but award deserving.
And since we're a show of one on a network of one right now, we are going to give ourselves trophies at the end of the year as the talent of the year on the Rush Radio Network.
Most improved.
Yes. Biggest growth. That's what we're going to do.
But we also get hottest seat. Ooh. We also win all the bad awards too.
That's right. So that's where we're at in our professional careers.
Did you have real stuff? Okay, you got real stuff because I say I got a ton of goofball, but I know we got 7 o'clock. We get busy.
Yeah, 7 o'clock. Kyle Peterson from ESPN going to join us. Sam Bernabe from the Iowa Cubs at 7:30. It's some big news yesterday as Rob Manfred, commissioner of Major League Baseball, put out the note that Pete Rose is no longer on the permanently banned list of Major League Baseball players, included Shoeless Joe Jackson on that list. They are both dead. Shoeless Joe died in 1951. Pete Rose died last year, I believe, at the age of 82. But now both are eligible for the Hall of Fame. It looks like the earliest these guys could get in the Hall of Fame is 2028. And the conversation has come up again. And there are some people who are really happy about this. Mike Schmidt put out a statement yesterday talking about how happy it was. Some people are calling, Rob Manfred a sellout and not happy about it. And I guess my thing is, who cares? They're dead. They are dead. They're dead.
This guy's dead. What do we do? This guy's dead.
Yeah, and now the new rule is, well, if you're permanently banned and you die, your sentence ends. So basically, if you get in trouble and you're really, really good.
Oh, you were banned for life.
For life. Now that your life is over, well, we can forgive all sins.
The posthumous part of this kind of upsets me. Like Pete Rose wanted this, fought for this. This would have. And I just want to think about this out loud for a minute because I've thought about it a long time. Obviously, like all of us have, but I still don't know exactly where I land. I think I know where I land, and that is Pete Rose should be acknowledged in the Hall of Fame, but his entire story should be a part of that plaque. And maybe that's what their plan is to say this guy was amazing, one of the best to ever do it.
I mean,
and then
he hit 356. That's the 4th highest average in Major League Baseball history. He's the all-time hits leader. There's no doubt he's a Hall of Famer. But I'm with you. Pete Rose almost deserves not just a plaque, but like a corner display explaining everything that Pete Rose did.
And you can do it with a plaque. I think it can say in that paragraph, here's what happened with this guy. And this is why you should never break the rules about gambling on the game, because this is what this is how it ruins your legacy. But the waiting, he died last year. You fought this thing tooth and nail, put your foot in the ground, said, absolutely not, no way. The guy dies. It's like, oh yeah, wait, we've thought about this. Finally got around to this Pete Rose conversation, and it turns out we don't really care. Who cares? Rob Manfred being a sellout. Can you explain that one? And I'm not saying you didn't say that, but you said some people were calling him that. What's the idea there?
That was on the headline at SI.com, and I didn't get through the whole article, but I think they looked at, you caved. That doesn't matter what this guy did. I mean, you had Shoeless Joe Jackson banned for years. If the guy was bad, he was bad.
Shoeless Joe Jackson's been banned for a century.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah. Not a few days. I mean, 100 years, that guy, his legacy, his family, that's long and gone. So who are we doing that for? For us?
I think it's probably like, well, if I do Pete, I might as well do Shoeless Joe, because my rationale is they're dead. Let me repeat, they're dead. And he said, now that they're dead, they can no longer hurt the integrity of the game. And let's not forget, I think last month met with President Trump, where I think there was some pressure there. Hey, I'm gonna pardon Pete Rose.
Is that the sellout part of it? Is that you caved to? Okay. Yeah. Again, bring politics into it. You're instantly you teams have been picked.
Yes.
Rev brings up something interesting here, and it's not out of the blue, and it's actually on topic. So the Houston Astros are forgiven, Ray says. Now, why that's a good point is, what can of worms does this open? What precedent does this set? Oh, you guys had a rule for 100 years. You guys stood by this thing, and now all of a sudden, yeah. Pete Rose, you got fought, and in my opinion, did the right thing there.
Well,
could have acknowledged the guy. But
I think Major League Baseball kind of screwed him around, too. Remember, he had to deal with Bart Giamatti. They thought it was going to be a 2-year ban. He would come back in. Hey, Vincent, I mean, there was a lot of stuff that happened with Pete Rose, that he was told certain things, then a guy dies, and the rules changed on him. Which, listen, when this first happened back in the 80s, I wrote a term paper in high school about how Pete Rose didn't gamble on baseball. Because I didn't want, it's funny how, and you can
want to believe it.
Yeah, and the Dowd report hadn't come out yet.
Yeah.
And so here I am, a high school kid.
And Pete Rose was denying it.
Yes.
And why? He wouldn't lie to us. It's Pete Rose. He wouldn't date a 13-year-old. It's Pete Rose. He was a gross human. Oh. All right. Casey brings up another great point on this, okay? Barry Bonds. We know Pete Rose bet on baseball. We know that happened. We know that Pete Rose bet on baseball games that he was the manager of when he was a player coach.
And the team he managed.
What do we know that Barry Bonds did? What do we know?
Well, he's denied it.
We know that Barry Bonds was one of the greatest baseball players of all time. One of the scariest at-bats of all time. Roger Clemens, Alex Rodriguez. What did these people do wrong? What did they get caught doing that baseball actually punished them for? I think A-Rod and Clemens, maybe they both got part of the... But what precedent are you setting here?
It's selective. Now,
it's punitive, Travis. That's the right word for it, right? Isn't punitive the right word for this? Let me look this up real quick. I want to make sure
the damage they've done with PEDs is, okay, we didn't put a lifetime ban on you, but we're letting the Hall of Fame electors not elect you. So they're letting it naturally just play out by going, well, we don't have to ban them because there's no way the baseball writers are going to vote these guys into the Hall of Fame.
And that's punitive, inflicting or intended as punishment. Barry Bonds, you weren't nice to us. Watch this. We'll keep our little pins and keep you out of the Baseball Hall of Fame.
Roger Clemens, same thing. A-Rod, same thing.
We didn't like
Rafael
you guys.
Palmeiro, the same one. Rafael Palmeiro hurt himself because he went in front of Congress and just
Wagged his finger. Literally wagged his finger at them.
Hell, there's probably a lot of people listening to the show who don't even know who Rafael Palmeiro is or how good of a player he was.
And in a way, Pete Rose did the exact same thing. Pete Rose did the Lance Armstrong tour. Pete Rose annihilated people around him that said, yeah, Pete's got a gambling problem. He went on character assassination tours of friendships that tried to tell us the truth. Same thing with Lance Armstrong. And I think that's why for years when the Veterans Committee would get together, you had guys kind of turn their heads and go, I'd like to vote for Pete. I loved Pete. Pete was a great player, one of the best of all of us. I can't do it. Why? Because Pete was cheating. Because Lance was cheating. So you've got to, if you're going to do this now, then Rob Manfred has to, in my opinion, needs to make some sort of statement about these other guys as well. Because this thing of we're going to wait until you die. We're going to hold it over your head till you die. What did I do? If you're Barry Bonds, if you're that list of guys, what did we do? What can you prove that we did? Yeah, my forehead grew and I was hitting balls 700 miles and all that. Yes, I was on PEDs. You can't prove it. So I'm just going to run the Pete Rose thing. And then remember, Pete, Lance Armstrong, both out over time finally said, okay, I give up. I did it. And that wasn't enough. That wasn't enough at the time when they were still alive to go, all right, yeah, man, thanks for saying that. We're glad you finally came around. Now we forgive and forget.
I mean, there are so many players that should be in the Hall of Fame that aren't. And again, you can tell their story. You can say, hey, it's very simple. But as a player, Barry Bonds didn't need PEDs. He may have needed PEDs to beat Hank Aaron's record. He didn't need PEDs to be a Hall of Famer. Roger Clemens didn't need drugs to become a Hall of Famer. He was going to be a Hall of Famer regardless. Then you have somebody like Andy Pettitte. Now, is Andy Pettitte a Hall of Famer?
No.
No, but he's one of the best postseason pitchers out there, right? I mean, if you wanted somebody on the mound for a World Series game, I'm taking Andy Pettitte because that guy just delivered.
I mean, he'd be in my rotation. I'm not saying if there's one game, I'm taking Andy Pettitte.
You know what I'm saying, though? That guy was consistent in the postseason.
I love him. I'm not knocking him, but he's not a Hall of Famer.
It came out and freely said, hey, I did it. It didn't work for me. I stopped. But even he was kind of banished for even admitting that he did it. He was like, well, you were a drug. Yeah. And he's like, I did it.
Okay. I was just about to paint with a broad brush there. I was about to say, why do we hate the people that admit it? Andy Pettitte.
I don't.
Hate what? I was going to say we as a collective. But it's not we as a collective. It's individual segments of us that do this thing. We don't like people that admit it. We don't like people that deny it. We don't like people that get caught later. We don't like people that deny it and then admit it. We don't like, Travis, the people that tell us about it. Ken Caminiti, Jose Canseco, these freaking clowns, juiced. He's just selling a book.
He was 100% right, dude.
He was like 98% right. like most of that book is true. But we looked at those guys and went, clowns.
Because we like people to just fall in line. Don't stray too far to the left. Don't stray too far to the right. Just stay in a straight line, and you're going to be just fine. Do you think Pete Rose ever gets in the Hall of Fame? You think the Veterans Committee puts Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, I think that it's that time. I'm just guessing you again, thinking out loud. I think time heals all wounds. Look at how much Shoeless Joe Jackson, like if I said right now, should Shoeless Joe Jackson be in the Hall of Fame? Yeah, that one to me seems like yeah. And I think most people would say yes. Why? Because we're so far removed from the bad, from the real story, and history changes. The story changes over time. And the story of Shoeless Joe Jackson is now much more Field of Dreams than it is a illiterate guy running around with no shoes on. I mean, the story gets time softens it. Sometimes time can harden things too and make them really nasty. Look at Shoeless Joe, and I think that's what happens with Pete Rose. Is that over time, and maybe it's not right away, Trav. Maybe it does take a little bit, but even with guys like Mike Schmidt coming out, Mike Schmidt never played with Pete Rose. Well,
they didn't play together. No, in Philadelphia they did.
In the early 80s, they would have.
Yes.
You're right.
Yes.
Okay. I was going to say that's a guy that didn't even play with him and just would have known Pete. You know what I mean? Been around Pete Rose.
Yeah, people probably forget. A lot of people look at Pete Rose and think the Reds, but he played with the Expos,
the Phillies,
at least Phillies, and he played with the Reds, and then managed. I think he was a player manager
for the Reds.
Yeah. I think a lot of people in today's era look at what the Astros did as a much bigger sin than what Pete Rose did. Not saying that it is, because if you're a player in any league, you shouldn't bet on your league, and you sure as hell shouldn't bet on your team. But I think people in the Astros go, well, hold on for a second. These guys, yeah, you were banging on trash cans, but there was a cadence to that tipped you off. And if players know what pitch is coming, these guys are excellent, man. These guys,
yeah. Listen, they're both cheating. But if you're asking me to grade them, fixing games and betting on games that you're the manager is way worse than than gaining a competitive advantage. Than knowing what pitch is coming. That's fixing games, and the potential of that's way worse than banging on trash cans. They're both on the bad side of the aisle. And I wouldn't want to have to weigh them. The conversation here is about Pete, right? And I think that you can talk about that slippery slope of what happens when you start to peel these things back. I don't know how I feel about this, man. I really don't like the posthumous part of it. If Rob Manfred wanted to do this, and I always thought that it was one of those deals where, it was that mentorship between him, Selig, and Giamatti, where he was like, no, I'm holding tight to this because my dudes made this decision. But apparently not.
515-517-2303. That is the number to call if you want to participate with us and let your voice be heard. We come back. ESPN and D1Baseball.com's Kyle Peterson scheduled to join us on the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
The sun's out and the deals are hot. It's time to spring into savings at Willis Chevrolet of Granger. We're your small-town, family-owned Chevy store. Drive home a new Silverado 1500 with 2.9 APR for 72 months. Get 1.9 APR on the dependable Chevy Equinox, or take on any adventure in a rugged new Colorado with $1,000 total cash allowance. Think electric? Step into the future with the all-new Equinox EV and enjoy $7,500 in potential federal tax credits. Stop in today or visit us online at willischevy.com.
I'm loving these wooden nickels, Brian.
Yeah, I suppose everyone is catching on.
Just spend $20 to get a wooden nickel.
It's 25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings on your next purchase.
Some of these are worth $5. That could be huge.
I know, right? That's why you have to spend $20.
It's 25.
Collect 10. It's like money back to you.
Spend 20, you get another wooden nickel.
It's 25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings. It's huge.
Central City Liquor is home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the wooden nickel program.
It's huge.
With over 260 beers on tap, El Bait Shop isn't just another craft beer bar. It's the best. Beer lovers know. El Bait Shop, 200 Southwest 2nd, Des Moines.
There's a new spin on casual dining near Drake University. Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers. Craveable faves, flatbreads, delicious burgers, frozen cocktails, and a crazy cool vibe. Get to Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers today.
Are you thinking about buying a home this year? Start by getting pre-approved with Gary Presnall at Northwest Bank in Des Moines to see how much you can qualify for and what loan programs meet your needs. Gary can get you pre-approved in 30 minutes or less with a pre-approval letter to you. Gary offers first-time home buyers programs, VA loans along with FHA, IFA, and conventional loans. Call Gary at 515-975-6767 or find his profile at nw.bank. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
Spring is here. It's pothole season. Potholes can wreak havoc on your suspension and alignment. If you come into Willis Chevrolet during the month of May and mention this video, we'll check your alignment for free and give you $30 off if you need one. Give us a call or schedule online today at willischevy.com.
The best bread is made from scratch, freshly baked with locally sourced ingredients and love. At Big Sky Bakery, we take great pride in our delicious products. We know you'll enjoy them almost as much as we enjoy baking them. Find us at the downtown Des Moines Farmers Market every Saturday.
Back to the Rush. Strong opinions, weak filters, and just enough sense to stay on the air. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Hour number 2 of the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. Happy Wednesday to you. If you're listening at therushradio.com or on the Android app, thank you so much for tuning in. If you're watching on YouTube this morning, give this channel a subscription. It's very simple. Just hit subscribe. Then give this video a like and leave your comments on something that we have to say, or just start conversing with everybody else who's watching as well. You can follow us on X, Facebook, and Instagram. Still waiting for Kyle Peterson from ESPN and D1Baseball.com to join us. He's scheduled to jump in anytime soon. Sam Bernabe, general manager of the Iowa Cubs, going to be joining us at 7:30.
Yeah, plenty of rabbit holes for you, like I said. But real quick, I want to touch on some of the comments we're focusing back on the Pete Rose thing, and I just want to put a bow on this. When people like me say that Pete Rose was betting on baseball and betting on games that he was managing, and then the response is, yeah, but he never bet on his team to lose. I just want to explain how short-sighted of an argument that is. If I'm managing a team and I have money on my team to win on Tuesday, I'm going to throw all my darts on Tuesday. That's going to affect how my team plays on Wednesday, especially if I don't plan on betting on Wednesday's game. And that's where the problem comes in with Pete Rose. That's why even betting for your team to win when you are the manager is a huge, huge, huge no-no. Because it's not about, well, was he just trying to win games or not? Well, yeah, in those games he was. And in the games he was putting himself in, think of how much he wanted to win those games. What was he costing the team in order to do that? For his own personal financial short-sighted gain. It doesn't take long to move the chess pieces around here to go checkmate, Pete. Come on, man. The hell were you doing? I was only betting on my team to win. Yeah, on Tuesday. You know, you play 6 games a week, right? So this thing of he was just competitive. It was just old Charlie Hustle. He was a bad guy too. Like all of us. And you can't tell the story of most of these guys without saying some of that, and Pete especially. So that's my response to he only bet on his team to win. Yeah, on Tuesday. Okay, do I have rabbit holes for you? Oh my gosh. So now, of course, Kyle pops in. That's great.
Kyle, well, because I sent him the wrong link, so that's
on you.
That's on me. It is 100% on me because I'm an idiot.
Well, Kyle might enjoy the rabbit hole that I had. Kyle might actually enjoy this because it's not necessarily a baseball story. Kyle, what's up, man? How are you, brother?
He's taking his sin out of his mouth is what he's doing. Yeah, he's putting another one in. One's in out, one's in. I like that.
Upper deckers, baby. No, the story that I just found that we were getting ready to go down the rabbit hole of is actually just about professional contracts and how technical these are. So this involves the Green Bay Packers. They have a guard. They drafted Sean Ryan. They drafted Sean Ryan back in 2022, and his rookie contract required that if he played 35% of the team's snaps for the first 3 years of his contract, he'd get a $2 million bonus. Okay. Going into the last game of that, and he'd had injuries and he'd had a substance abuse issue that had him suspended. Going into the last game of last season, his agent figured out he needed 65 snaps in order to get the record, in order to get to that mark. Packers played him for 65 snaps. Then they redid the math and found out he was 2 snaps short of the $2 million bonus. This stuff happens in baseball a lot. Like I remember CC Sabathia had an innings incentive, and he ended up plunking a guy instead of taking the innings incentive. Phil Huber had one with the Twins. I remember that was kind of funky. So anyway, that was the rabbit hole I was getting ready to go down with you, Travis. These contracts and bonuses.
When you were at the Brewers, did you ever have any incentives?
Don't be in the training room. I think that was the biggest one, and I failed every time. I never hit the incentive.
Kyle Peterson from ESPN and, of course, D1Baseball.com joining us. When we had Kyle on last time, we were kicking off the college baseball season, just going right into it, as I think he's going to shed his shades right now. There he is. When we had you on last time, we were talking about the Iowa Hawkeyes and what kind of season they were going to be. Yeah. This weekend, they're playing for the Big Ten regular season championship and taking on number 5 Oregon. Has Iowa surprised you this year?
Your listeners are going to get mad at me. No, they haven't beat anybody.
Oh, that's fair.
Iowa has not beat one team so far this year that will go to the NCAA tournament. Not one. So, yes, they potentially can win the Big Ten. I think that they're a team that could potentially cause problems if they get in the NCAA tournament. The RPI is in the 60s. They didn't play USC. They didn't play UCLA. Oregon State beat them both games that they finished, and they haven't played Oregon yet. SC's going to the tournament. UCLA's going to the tournament. Oregon State's going to the tournament. Now they get their chance this weekend, but it has to be a good weekend. If they don't win the series against Oregon and then they don't go win the Big Ten tournament, they don't get in. I mean, I don't know what the argument is.
Really? So you're saying,
wow.
If they took 2 of 3 from Oregon and won the Big Ten regular season, would they get in then?
I think the argument gets better, but
wow.
I mean, if you really go look at their schedule, I honestly just did it because I had a sneaking suspicion you were going to ask me about Iowa.
Smart.
But they literally have not beat one team so far this year that will be in the NCAA tournament. Not one. So
wow,
we've
talked about their schedule, and Rick Heller's been on with us a couple times. He's a great dude, by the way.
He's awesome, and he's done a great job. This is not this is the part that everybody gets pissed at you because why do you hate my team? I don't hate your team. I'm just telling you, this. If you're sitting in the room deciding who's going to be in the tournament, this is the stuff that you look at. And the math is fairly straightforward, right? Aside from potentially winning a Big Ten, which I get. We've had this SEC argument the whole year. Vanderbilt's 3 or 4 games back of Texas. But Vanderbilt didn't play Missouri and they didn't play South Carolina, who are 2 historically bad SEC programs. So is that record the same as those that played everybody else and didn't play or did play them? Well, no, it's not. And I think when you look at Iowa's record, if you're in the Big Ten, you played SC, UCLA, and Oregon, which they're going to play Oregon. But SC and UCLA are probably UCLA for sure. But SC is probably going to go to the tournament. The schedule makes a big difference.
Okay, so that's Big Ten scheduling, right? Next year that will kind of rotate. Boy, I'm afraid to ask this question. Is this looking forward as you bring those teams back onto the schedule in the next 10 years? Can the Hawkeyes compete? Is this idea of being Big Ten champions? This is something that the Hawkeyes can do when you've got those other teams on the schedule.
No, they absolutely can. But here's the thing: go look at. I'll read you their non-conference, okay? In certain years, this would be fine, but certain years it's not. They went to USF. They lost 2 out of 3. They got rained out against Loris or snowed out, whatever it was. They played Notre Dame, Stetson, and Maryland, Baltimore County. They played a 4-game series against Washington State, lost 3 out of 4. Then they played Loris, which is not going to help you, but I understand the reasons why they do it.
Yeah.
The other midweeks are Illinois, Chicago, Illinois State, Bradley, Milwaukee, Bradley, Western Illinois, St. Thomas, Illinois State, and USC. If you want to get away from the league RPI isn't going to be good, you got to go play dudes. And if you don't, and the league RPI isn't very good, you're not going to make it up in the league. That's the problem. Like, the RPI is in the 60s, but they're leading the league. I mean, that alone tells you that if you're going to gain points in the RPI and you're in the Big Ten in a year like this, which they didn't know who they were going to play. So this is not but you got to go, play 3 on the road against Auburn or somebody like that. That you got a chance to get, because here's the way the RPI works. If you go on the road and win 1, that's the same as winning 2 at home. From a point standpoint, if you go steal 2, then you stole and you get on a plane, you go home. But the non-conference component, when you're in leagues that are going to beat you up within the league and RPI, makes a huge difference.
So, Nebraska's not very good, farther down, but they went to Oregon State and won 2 out of 3 at Oregon State. Does that help them more than Iowa, even though Iowa beat Nebraska 2 out of 3? I mean, because both of those teams are fighting for postseason position.
Okay, so let's make a comparison. Here's Nebraska's non-conference. UC Irvine, tournament team. Vanderbilt, tournament team. They beat. Louisiana Lafayette is in the tournament every other year. They lost 2 out of 3. LSU, they got beat. K-State, they got beat. K-State's going to the tournament. They played UCLA, they got swept. They played SC, they lost 2 out of 3.
Jeez.
They won 2 out of 3 at Oregon State. So, I mean, they've played 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, somewhere between 13 and 15. They played Creighton 3 times. They got beat twice, but they've played somewhere between 13 and 16 teams or 13 and 16 games against teams that are going to the NCAA tournament. I mean, to date, Iowa's played 3. So this is what gets talked about in a committee room. Okay, yes. I mean, the biggest crutch, and it stinks, but it's the reality. The biggest crutch of the selection committee is the RPI. So if you want to go look at everything else, because they don't watch every game, you want to look at everything else, they go straight to the RPI and go, well, hold it. The RPI is in the 60s. Like, well, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Now, the reality is, and rightfully so, the Big Ten gets an RPI buffer to where they don't have to have the same RPI that you do if you're in the SEC and the ACC, and they shouldn't, because within the league, you can't attain the same
that makes sense
as you can in the others. But it has to be, in the 40s to be looked at and go, okay. And then the next thing they do is they go look at the schedule. And when they go look at the schedule, they're like, well, hold it. they didn't go play anybody. So I think you win 2 out of 3 this weekend. You play well in the Big Ten tournament. You're squarely back in the discussion. I don't think as of today, you lose 2 out of 3 this weekend, I don't think they're in the discussion.
Well, and we know this, that, college baseball is not very popular in Iowa. They're going to see, oh my God, you are going to finish first or second in the Big Ten. You're going to be automatic. But there's so much more at play than this. And we've talked about the schedule. I mean, the one time you go west, you lose 2-3 to Washington, and you don't play UCLA or USC. We Ross and I have talked about that all season long. So we've kind of known the schedule was going to be a hindrance, but not as much as you're letting us on.
Yeah, we'd never looked at the RPI, and I had not looked at them compared to Nebraska. I'm glad you brought that up. So Iowa, 65 in RPI, and Nebraska 69. Nebraska's a 500 baseball team. They're 20, right? I mean, 26 and 26.
I mean, listen,
and they're just a few spots behind.
RPI is, for me, excuse me, is a very flawed system.
Yes, but it's a metric.
Yeah, but what it does is it rewards you, I would say, too heavily for winning a game on the road. Now, if you go win 2 games at Oregon State, I would be very interested to see what Nebraska's RPI would look like if they had been swept at Oregon State. So keep everything else the same. But if you get swept at Oregon State, I would bet it probably drops 15 spots.
Wow.
It's why we've argued for a different metric to be used in addition to RPI, because I think it penalizes you too much. I think it penalizes you too much for a loss and sometimes probably rewards you a little bit too much for a win. For instance, Texas A&M last weekend. Now they get swept by Missouri. Missouri is historically bad. They were 0-24 in the SEC coming into the weekend. They swept A&M at A&M. A&M's RPI went down 24 points.
Wow. Whoa.
A&M has series wins against Arkansas, Tennessee, and LSU.
It's pretty good. Those are pretty good
Not
series
bad,
wins.
right? So now they're also 10-17 in the league. I mean, you got to figure out which team you want to look at. But my point is if you suck one weekend, it shouldn't bury you for the rest of the year. And I think that it can.
So LSU number 1 right now in the D1Baseball.com poll. Is LSU the best team you've seen this year? Or I think last year Tennessee was by far the best team in the country, right? Is there clearly a best team in the country?
Sure.
3 years ago?
No, there's definitely not that's why I think it's going to be really interesting. I don't think Arkansas is the best team in the country for me. That being said, LSU just beat them 2 out of 3, but 1 was extra innings and it was in Baton Rouge. So, and the extra inning game ended at 1:15 in the morning, and there was 6,000 drunk Cajuns going crazy. So,
were you there for that?
No, I was in Rem at that point. I was in Knoxville last weekend, but I think Arkansas for me is the best. Arkansas is not going to win the SEC. I mean, unless weird stuff happens this weekend, so I maybe, but they'd have to sweep. Texas would have to get swept. I don't think they're going to win the SEC, but I think Arkansas is the best team. There's no super team. The argument for who the number 1 seed is way clouded right now, which is great. I mean, I think that now you're arguing amongst probably 3 SEC teams, but still it's not a clear-cut deal. I don't think Omaha is going to be chalky. I think there's going to be I think you're going to get a Troy, Coastal, a Southern Miss, an Irvine, somebody like that comes through, because I don't think anybody's going to go out and hammer anybody.
That's crazy, and we're getting ready for the postseason. Of course, Iowa, a big opportunity this weekend against Oregon. We were talking about this before you came on the air, and that was the Pete Rose, Shoeless Joe Jackson. You played professional baseball. What do you think about what happened yesterday with Pete Rose and Shoeless Joe Jackson?
I think Barry Bonds should be in the Hall of Fame. Roger Clemens should be in the Hall of Fame. Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame. I didn't see Shoeless Joe Jackson, but apparently he was really good. Listen, man, I played when those guys, not Pete Rose, but I played when all the other guys played. I got an incredible secret for you. A whole lot of people were doing it.
Oh.
And some of those people are in the Hall of Fame. So this idea, A-Rod's one of the greatest players in the history of the game. It's not even, go look at any metric. It's not even close. They were all doing it. Like I'll tell you a me story. I think I've told Trav this, maybe not, but first time I got hurt, I was rehabbing, and we rehabbed at this place down in Arizona, and there was a ton of big leaguers that all went to the same place. And I'm working out one day, which that in and of itself should be a little bit surprising, but this fireman comes up to me who was in there working out. And he's like, "Hey man, I work with a lot of guys in here." I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool." And I didn't really know what the hell he was talking about. He goes, "Well, if you need anything, I can get it for you. And I can get the clear, the this or the that, the whole thing." And then I'm like, "Oh, okay, now I know what the hell you're talking about." I said, "I think I'm good, but let me think about it. I'm sure I'll see you in here, Dan." And honestly, I went home and I talked to my wife about it. And because at the time they didn't test. I mean, I could have walked in to the clubhouse smoking weed with a vial in my arm, and they couldn't have done anything. There was no testing. And for me, it wasn't necessarily like, am I breaking the rules or am I not breaking the rules? It was, I don't know what the hell this is going to do to me for the rest of my life. And so I'm not going to do it. Would I have made $50 million more if I would have done it? I don't know, maybe. But everybody knew what everybody was doing. And you had your own choice as to whether or not you did it. So this whole idea that the holier than thou police come out and say, well, these guys can't get in, bullshit. Everybody knew what was going on. Major League Baseball knew what was going on. The front office knew what was going on. Everybody knew what was going on. And you know what? They watched. When McGuire went on the home run string against Sosa, they watched. When Rocket pitched, they watched. When A-Rod played, they watched. And nobody said anything. So don't stand up there now and tell me we're not going to let them in when you knew everything that was going on and all the other guys that were playing knew the same stuff that was going on. I think it's total crap. Because if you played against those guys when everybody else could do the exact same thing, and you tell me that they're not the best players in the history of the game, you're the one on drugs.
Yeah,
completely agree on the A-Rod staff. Now, just applying that logic on the Pete Rose thing, not everybody was doing what Pete Rose was doing.
Fair.
And not everybody knew what knew what Pete was doing. Now, I've said it. I think what Pete Rose is one of the greatest of all time too, and he deserves to have recognition and his story to be told in that Baseball Hall of Fame. I just hate that they did this posthumously and waited till the guy's dead. And
did you see the statement?
I guess I didn't see the statement.
The statement was gross. I mean, the statement was basically, posthumously we waited. It's like, whoa, hold on. Like, how does that change? The guy literally wanted one thing left in his life.
Yeah.
That's it. And he had more hits than any human, and that's never going to be broken. Ever, ever, ever. Like, there's a lot of records you look at and say, maybe that one's never getting broken. But this Manfred statement was really disappointing. I mean, essentially, we waited till he died, and then we let him in. Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
That's great.
Just to punish him, just to be mean to him.
Well, I think part of the statement was, if you are banned for some reason for life, once you die, your life's over. So then your ban no longer exists.
That doesn't change anything that happened. The same stuff happened. Like, if you're banned, you're banned. If you're not, you're not. I don't know.
I agree with you that Major League Baseball always knew what was happening. And that I think that's what bugged me about the whole thing, that Major League Baseball watched this and then became self-righteous and like, oh, we've got.
Well, and listen, I was in the Players Association meetings. Like, I remember the conversations, and there was one in particular. I don't know, it was either 2000 or 2001, to where the discussion actually finally started. Because if things were going to change, it had to start with the players, because it's bargained. So Major League Baseball can get pissed and say they're going to do stuff, but if players don't agree to it, it doesn't matter. And ultimately, it took the players saying, "Hey, it's time. We gotta do something here." And there was enough of a public outcry, and honestly, it got to be a little bit of a clown show for some that were doing it. But it took the players ultimately to say, "Okay, we're ready to have the discussion." So, I guess it's unfair to say it's totally on the teams and Major League Baseball. It's not, because the players had to come back to the table and say, okay, we're agreed to have the conversation. But to keep them out is, it's if you stood 60 feet away from Barry Bonds or Mark McGuire, and I was fortunate in my life to do it, it was one of the most intimidating things that any human being can ever do in their entire life. They were different than everybody else.
They ever hit one off you? They ever go yard on you?
No, Bonds was 0 for 4.
That's awesome.
I've got some weird stats. Pujols was 0 for 6. I gave up a home run to Luis Alicea. Not too many human beings can say that. It was funny. I was at Mike Martin's funeral earlier this year, and there was it was all Florida State guys, and I was standing there with a few of them. I was talking to JD Drew, and I said, "Hey, you probably don't remember this, but you're in the book, or I'm in your book. You took me deep at St. Louis." And he's like, "Really?" I go, "Well, I wasn't there very long, so I remember all of them." Like Robin Ventura hit the first one, you hit one, Luis Alicea hit one. He's like, whoa, hold on, what? I said, yeah, Luis Alicea hit one when he was with the Royals. He goes, hey, Louis. And Luis Alicea is in the room. I didn't know. So he calls him over. He's like, how many home runs do you have in your career? It was like 5 or something like that. He's like, well, you got one off this guy. Thanks, JD. It's good to see you again, buddy. Anybody else you want to call over?
Oh, that's
Nobody
good stuff. Oh, all right. Before we let you go, where are you this weekend and what conference tournament are you going to be doing?
I go to Fayetteville today. I have Tennessee, Arkansas tomorrow after we play golf, which is important. I drive home Friday. We have state soccer semifinals at 2 at Morrison Stadium. We have a graduation party at our house on Saturday from 5 to 8. Trav, you're more than welcome.
I never got the invite.
I'm not in charge of anything.
Okay, what day is that?
Saturday, 5 to 8. Just show up.
Saturday, 5 to 8. You don't mind if I show up?
Well, I just invited you.
I know. Hey, Fogarty just walked by my house the other day. He tell you that? He said he had lunch with you.
I invited Fogarty.
All right. All right.
So ride with Fogarty. You can come with him. And then graduation Sunday, and then hopefully state finals Monday, and fly to the SEC tournament Monday night or Tuesday.
Wow.
But so besides that, what else you got?
Yeah. I just forgot to put the wash in the dryer this morning. So I put it in the dryer at 6 and went for a walk, and then Trav sent me the wrong link. So it's been a really good day.
Blame me. All right, Kyle. I will see you Saturday,
so much
5 to 8. Okay.
Thanks for sneaking us in. You're not going to stop this guy.
No, you better show up.
I will.
Show up. Hey, we got I'm told we have a food truck. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
Now he's there. He just can't eat
pizzas or something. I don't know what it is.
All I know is you're paying for it. That's it. That's all I know is you're paying for it.
I've been told that. Yes.
All right,
Bye,
Kyle. Appreciate the time, buddy. We'll catch you up soon.
Thanks, buddy.
See ya. That's some good stuff right there.
Got changed for a quarter with all that time? You got changed for a quarter? Holy cow.
What do you got going on? We can have him back and have a whole Major League Baseball conversation just about, and think about it, he's talking about standing 60 feet away from Barry Bonds and Mark McGwire. I mean, not too many people in this world can say that to you, which is
Bonds went 0
really
for
cool.
Bonds and Pujols were a combined 0 for 10 against him, but a home run to Luis Alicea. That's awesome. Don't you also love when baseball guys know those weird stats? Like, and most guys that you meet that have played at that level are humble like that. You know what I mean? They'd rather talk about the Luis Alicea home runs than, I mean, I dominated Pujols and Bonds, but let me tell you about this one dude.
515-517-2303. When we come back, Sam Bernabe from the Iowa Cubs is going to be joining us next on the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Spring is here, and so are spring pests. Whether it's birds in your dryer vent, raccoons in your chimney, squirrels in your soffit, ants in your kitchen, or bats in your attic, with over 20 years of experience, Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions can help. Call us today at 515-218-3400 to schedule your inspection and see how Bats and Bugs can help prevent your home from becoming their home.
The Royal Mile, where everyone's a wee bit British. The Royal Mile is downtown Des Moines' living room with classic pub favourites. Pair them with a glass of whiskey or an expertly poured Guinness. It's bloody brilliant. The Royal Mile, a proper British pub.
Fong's Pizza has moved to 317 East Court in the East Village and is ready for good weather with an expanded menu and a patio that is ready for pals, pints, and pizza. Fall in love all over again with the new Fong's in the East Village.
Thinking about buying a home? Get pre-approved in 30 minutes with Gary Presnell at Northwest Bank in Des Moines. Gary offers first-time home buyers programs, VA, FHA, IFA, and conventional loans. Call Gary at 515-975-6767 or find his profile at nw.bank. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
You know, Brian, at Central City, we really do have the best selection around.
I know. High-quality stuff you can't find anywhere else.
Whistle Pig Plantation Rum.
Yeah, and over 150 of the best scotches on earth.
And a ton of bitters, mixers, and more.
You know what we are? High class.
Definitely high class, yeah.
Make way for the natty.
Okay, maybe medium class.
Central City Liquors, home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the Wooden Nickel program.
Hey everybody, this is Mason Miller, sales manager out here at Willis Infinity. We got some great stuff going on this month. Right now, you can get up to $4,000 off on a new QX80 and enjoy 2.9% for 60 months. On top of that, this month, you can enjoy 1.9% out to 60 months, an additional $1,000 off of the new QX60. For more information, stop out at our showroom or visit us online at willisinfinity.com.
There's a new spin on casual dining near Drake University. Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers. Craveable faves, flatbreads, delicious burgers, frozen cocktails, and a crazy cool vibe. Get to Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers today.
The best bread is made from scratch, freshly baked with locally sourced ingredients and love. At Big Sky Bakery, we take great pride in our delicious products. We know you'll enjoy them almost as much as we enjoy baking them. Find us at the downtown Des Moines Farmers Market every Saturday.
Back like a rash you thought was gone. Travis and Ross aren't contagious, but they are addictive. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Welcome back to the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. You just saw that Big Sky Bakery ad. Oh, I'm diving into the granola, man. Diving way into the granola.
Gotta get. I gotta replenish my supply here, dude.
You do.
Crush that bag pretty quick.
That's like
I'm
daily
just
energy.
a chocolate lovers, man, and maybe I should branch out, try some of the other flavors.
Get the honey almond. Get the peanut butter chocolate, get the cherry cranberry. It's all good. Hey, we have a guest now with, I don't think he was on our show at all during our 15 years over at the terrestrial radio.
I don't remember for sure. I don't know. I don't know.
But
Excited to
joining
talk
us
to this
now
guy.
on the Rush Radio Show, he was worried about the technology. He's got this thing down. Sam Bernabe, the general manager of the Iowa Cubs. Good morning, sir. How you doing?
Oh, I'm all right. I figured it out. It's a good thing. It took a little bit of doing, but it's hard to teach an old dog new tricks. But I figured it out, so I'm glad to be.
Are you in your office already this morning?
Yeah. It's early, guys. I don't know what the hell you do at so early this morning, but it's early for us old guys.
Sam, it's funny when we got you lined up for today. Travis and I were talking about it. Both of us blown away, and I'm sure some days it blows you away with how long you've been the general manager down there with the Iowa Cubs, or involved. Yeah, I know you've had different roles within the organization. But I'm a young man. I grew up here in Des Moines. You have been a face on the corridor there at Sec Taylor Stadium, at Principal Park, my entire lifetime. It was shocking to me. What we were trying to decide today. Were you 11, 12 years old when you first got that job with the I-Cubs?
Yeah, I tell people I've been doing this for 42 years, and I started when I was 10. So
yeah, smart.
They kind of look at me like, really? Yeah, no, it's been a great run. The ball club hired me in December of 1983 as an intern, and got to work my way into the GM job by the time I guess it was 1986. In October of '86, when one of the current owners of the team passed away, and Mr. Granquist and Mr. Easter put me in as the general manager, and then Michael Gardner brought me in as a partner when he bought the team. The three of us bought the team in 1999. Mr. Granquist passed away, and they made me the president of the team at that point, and that's been the case ever since.
Did you know what the hell you were doing in 1986 when you took over the role? Did you like, okay, I'll do it?
No, it's funny. I think back at that a little bit, Travis. It's one of the employees is still a good friend. I talk to him every once in a while. Bruce Bielenberg asked me at that moment, is if they ask you to do that, will you do it? And I said, hell yeah, I'll do it. He says, do you know what you're doing? I said, hell no, I don't know what I'm doing. It was just one of those things. I was very fortunate to get into the organization. At the time, they didn't have a general manager. The as an intern, they had a director of marketing, a guy by the name of Bill Holden, and Bill hadn't been with the team yet. He didn't really know what he was doing either, and we only had 5 employees at the time, and that old ballpark was a real learning experience. I probably learned more about how to do or not do baseball in that old park than most anything else I've ever done. So it's been very gratifying. I can't. I wouldn't change a single day of driving down the freeway every day coming to my office at the ballpark.
That role within the Iowa Cubs has evolved, and your role within baseball, quite frankly, has evolved over the years, Sam. A larger and larger part of just minor league baseball in general. There was a period of time when I, as a fan, worried about the health of minor league baseball, or even the future of minor league baseball. How do you feel right now about the state of minor league baseball?
Well, I like it a lot. I got to be honest, Ross. It the game was, the minor league baseball was 120 years old before Major League Baseball took it over. We had an agreement called it was called the Basic Agreement, Basic Baseball Agreement, and it had a PDC component to it, Player Development Contract, and that's what bound us together between Major League Baseball and minor league baseball. That's what made minor league baseball so unique to all other minor league sports, is it had a regular working agreement with its major league big brother, and in October of 2020 that ended, and so Major League Baseball took over minor league baseball, and I like to think they probably didn't quite know what they were getting themselves into, but it's evolved since then, and it's really been a good thing. I'm really I like where we're at with the game, with our relationship with Major League Baseball, our relationship with all of our affiliates. I'm disappointed that it was pared down from 160 affiliated teams to 120, but that is the nature of the business. And I think all of those cities still have minor league baseball, only in a independent role, but still supported by Major League Baseball. I think the commissioner's office and the commissioner has done a great job of keeping everybody involved, even though a city may have lost its affiliated team. There's still baseball there, and that's important to everybody in our business, is the promotion of the game, in the expansion of the game, whether it's in a town of 50,000 people or a country of 5 million people. Wherever we can go play, we want to go play. And so it's important that we keep growing the game. But I think where we're at now is really good. I like the changes that have been made to the game relative to the speed of play, the offensive changes that have been made, I think, are really good. I'd like to say the elimination of the shift probably extended every left-handed hitter's career by 10 years. So, those little things have made a big difference, and I really like where we're at.
Sam, I got a long-winded question because you took over in 1986 as the GM. I'm trying to remember, because time flies, the explosion of minor league baseball, especially when it came to the hats and stuff like the Bandits and stuff. That would have been probably mid-'80s, early 90s, I think. And then it maybe trailed off a little bit. And then you have the Savannah Bananas. And this is where I'm conflicted, is that I think they are doing, from an entertainment standpoint, do an amazing job. They're selling out football stadiums now, 70, 80,000 people. But I'm not into gimmicks. I know the Bananas have been at Principal Park. Do you think that helps grow the game like minor league baseball? Or do fans just need to look at that as that's just a gimmick? It's the Globetrotters. It's a show.
It's probably both, Travis. I would say that it has an element of baseball that probably intrigues somebody that hasn't been tied to or been entertained by baseball yet. Certainly, it's the Harlem Globetrotters of baseball, and that's, they do things that of course the game would never ever do, and that's okay, because it's fun to watch, and I have 11,000 people sitting in my stands when they're here that are all happy and singing and clapping and dancing and jumping up and down. But they also do that when I had Dave Matthews, and they also do that when you go to a concert at the arena, and they also do that when they go see the circus. And I mean, everybody, it's just entertainment. It's all it is, and that's all to baseball and the game itself. That's all it'll be. Now, on the other side of that, it's important to do those kinds of things in order to keep baseball in a certain respect in front of a lot of people that probably don't watch baseball or don't have a team to follow or root for. So the advent of what really is minor league baseball now and the success, it really started back in the late 70s when Major League Baseball owned all the minor league teams they had. And they decided they wanted to get out of the business, and they were literally selling teams to people for debt. You know, if you had $100,000 in bills that needed to be paid, if you were willing to pick up the cost of those bills, then the major league team was going to turn the minor league team over to you. And so minor league people there suddenly became entertainers in and of themselves, and all of a sudden you had the Dizzy Bat Race, and you had flying T-shirts, and you had the famous chicken, and you had all
Max Paxton. I remember coming to see those at Zach Taylor Stadium. Yeah,
exactly. All of those things really evolved out of people that didn't know really anything about baseball, but were entertainers. Started running minor league teams, and eventually it evolved to where all the teams, or almost all the teams, were owned independently of Major League Baseball, other than the affiliation process, which was the most important part of any kind of relationship we had, because it helped to reduce our expenses. It helped, they picked up expenses, we picked up expenses, and then we gave them a little bit in the end in order to make it right, almost like an entertainment tax kind of thing. So, that's the evolution. I think Jesse with the Bananas is just another evolution of entertainment. He may be able to create something out of that. My understanding is he's trying to even put together a half a dozen teams that would compete against each other under the rules that he has created and all the zaniness that goes with it. So, he may be able to come up with something that is even competitive, although it is still just entertainment.
Sam Bernabe joining us on the Rush Radio Show. You mentioned 42 years. By the way, I was 12 when you started.
Don't bring don't say that. He was 10.
Thanks for that.
How much longer are you going to go?
Oh, I don't know. I think I've got another year or so in me, probably. What makes it really easy to talk about that is that if they decided to stop paying me today, I'd feel really good about where the club is at. I've got employees that have been with me for, my CFO's been with me for 30 plus years, 35 years. I've got employees that have been with me 27, 28, 29 years. My groundskeeper, Chris Slosser, who is considered the best in the business, I think. He's been with me 27. Randy Wayhofer, my assistant general manager and vice president, has been with me 17, 18 years. So the club is in really good shape. It's in great hands. The guys and gals that run the day-to-day, I don't have to worry about anything. I keep one eye on it, but they do all the hard work, the legwork, and they're making all the fun decisions now on how things promotionally look and the way we market the team, and they're doing great. So if I decided that after this conversation things were I should be done, then I wouldn't have any qualms with any of that. And I also have a 2-year-old grandson now that is beginning to shorten that time frame considerably. So the more FaceTime I get with him and the calls I get and the videos I get and the pictures I get, the more that's going to reduce that time here in my office.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you some advice because I'm gonna be a grandfather for the first time in late July and August, right? So my daughter lives in Mississippi. How hard? This is what I'm worried about. I'm like, am I gonna pick up and move to Mississippi? Because my worry is FaceTime's great, but that grandkid's not gonna know who the hell I am. Is it the same FaceTiming, or is it like, oh, I really miss that kid, I need to be around him?
Well, no, it is not the same. I mean, at every moment I've got that little guy bouncing on my knee, or I'm changing his diaper, or trying to play in the water in the backyard with him. Is there's nothing better than that. And as he gets older, now he's swinging a baseball bat, and he's running the bases in the deck area, and he acts like he's sliding home, and I get that on FaceTime, and I just want to hang up and go over if I could. They happen to now live in Atlanta. My son is the assistant general manager of the Gwinnett Stripers, which is the AAA team for the Atlanta Braves. Yeah. And he started that job the first of the year, and they've moved to Atlanta. And so I guess the good news is there's a lot of direct flights to Atlanta on a regular basis. It's made it easier for my wife, but I haven't been able to get down there a whole lot yet. So I'm going to see him. But no, it is not the same. you'll want to be there all the time. And you may move to Mississippi if you have the ability to do that. You may just do that. A friend of mine told me not too long ago, we were talking about our grandkids, and he said, if I'd have known how much fun grandkids were, I'd never had never had kids. I'd have gone right to the grandkids stage. So, we agreed that was truly the case.
Go ahead, Trav.
Go ahead.
No, you're fine.
After you, sir.
I wanted to go back to, he had mentioned the grounds crew as part of that. You're talking about the amazing growth that you've seen with the Iowa Cubs and the evolutions that you've been a part of. Anybody that's been paying attention around Central Iowa sees that your grounds crew does a lot more than just what's at Principal Park. How did that ever come to be, and how big is that turf crew that you've got now?
Well, I was fortunate enough to start that company 2006. And with my groundskeeper, Chris Losser, we just, in fact, he was out rebuilding a mound for South Des Moines Little League, I think. And I was looking for him because I needed him to, we needed to decide something, and I couldn't run him down. And the more I couldn't find him, the more upset I got. And so finally he called, and I said, "Where the hell are you?" And he said, "Oh, I'm rebuilding a mound over at South Des Moines." And I said, "Haven't you just been over there in the last week?" And he said, "Yeah, we were doing a home plate area." And I said, "How often do you do that?" He says, "Oh, probably around town, once, twice a month, I suppose." I said, "Are we getting paid anything for that?" And he said, "No." And I said, "Well, let's talk about that a little bit." And suddenly, for $500, we'd rebuild a high school mound, and for $1,500, we'd rebuild your mound and rebuild your home plate area and fill in all the holes that the kids dig in the batter's box, and that's how it started. And we built that into having 22 groundskeepers all around town. We had contracts with the city of Des Moines and their parks department, and we had contracts with West Des Moines. We had a contract with Dowling High School to do their practice fields, so the grass areas. That's how it began, and then we inevitably sold the ball club. We sold Iowa Sports Turf. It was the end of 2020 to Musco Lighting, and Musco now owns it, and they've expanded it exponentially. It's crazy. They're developing all kinds of things. They've got. I was with Casey Scheidel yesterday, who oversees that company for them, and they've got. I think they're into the 30s now, and the groundskeepers and people working for him, and they've created an automatic balls and strikes system for little leagues that they've developed, and they've got 30 different diamonds around town that they're doing ABS for little league systems. And, that's how advanced. We would have had a hard time coming up with an ABS system for a little league with the Iowa Cubs. So.
I think they've also got a similar system, Sam, for soccer that they're developing, where it can be an official-less soccer game that's controlled by a robot.
Yeah, I know Jeff Rogers well. He's a great friend, and he keeps me up with some of the things they're doing, and I can't keep up with it.
That's brilliant.
Their innovation and technology stuff that they're working on is just incredible down in Oskaloosa.
Besides the iCubs, you also could put other people in Principal Park. You just had the Iowa series against Oregon State. I think 17,000 people over 3 games. Some people are asking on the chat right now, going, "Hey, is there any way to get the state baseball back to Principal Park?" Besides the iCubs, what opportunities does Principal Park possess, and would we ever see state baseball come back? And do you think Iowa comes back again next year to play?
Well, it'd be very difficult for state baseball to come back, mostly because I don't have the control of my schedule that I used to have. I don't have the ability to block out dates in a long-term contract situation. We will get our 26 schedule probably mid-July, just after the All-Star break. And somewhere in that area, we'll be able to figure out what we can do for 2026. And if the timing felt right and fell right as far as the calendar goes for the State High School Association, then maybe it would work. But the problem is that the High School Association folks want a long-term contract, and I just can't give it to them. I don't have the ability to do that. My schedule is controlled by Major League Baseball. They tell me when and where and how I'm going to play. And so I just don't have any ability to do that. Particularly with all the other things that we are doing that we are trying to, we block a date here and there. So we're already doing some of that stuff as it is. So to block 8 dates out of my calendar consistently for any length of time over a long period of time is just not we're not able to do that. As far as the rest of the stuff goes, our ownership group, the Silver Lake people, the first thing they said to me when I was talking with them as they started buying teams was we believe all of the stadiums that we are involved in should operate 365 days out of the year. And so we've kind of taken that to heart now. When I have to shut the water off on October 15th and I can't turn it on until March 15th in the stadium, it makes it a little tough to operate. But on the same hand, there are a fair number of days that we don't play baseball that we're always looking for things to do. And as an example, Memorial Day weekend, the Friday and Saturday Memorial Day weekend, we started a music fest. And on Friday night, we've got 3 bands, pop rock kind of bands, featuring the feature for the evening is the Pork Tornadoes. And then Saturday is a country night, and it'll have four different groups, and the feature there is Craig Campbell. And for $15 you can come enjoy music all evening. So those are the kinds of things we'll keep trying to add. The Bananas will be back probably in some form, not this year, but we'll get them in some form next year. We're looking at a thing called Cosmic Baseball, where they actually play baseball at night under fluorescent lights. It's quite a deal. It's fun to watch. We're looking at drone shows. We're looking to resurrect we did a beer fest for a long time. We're going to resurrect that. And even some wintertime stuff. Our company has developed a Christmas fest or a winter fest kind of thing that it may not be in the stadium. It might be in the parking lot, but it'll be something that'll be happening here at the ballpark. So, the Iowa-Oregon State Series is a great series for us to host here. Hopefully the calendar will allow us to do one of those next year in some capacity. Whether it's a Big Ten opponent or somebody else. But we're always trying to find new things to be able to do. And going back to my groundskeeper, he doesn't like any of it. So that's always a battle. He's been with me a long time. I may be finding a way for him to retire even before I do. So
I thought what you were going to say is you just got to send him to, hey, I think there needs to be a new mound built in South Des Moines. And while you're gone, I'm going to set up for a concert.
Yeah, I'm always encouraging him to take a lot of vacation time in and around the craziness that I'm trying to put together here in the ballpark.
Excellent stuff. Sam, always good to catch up with you. We appreciate your time this morning. Let's do it again. You mentioned the Music Fest coming up. People can go check that out and go see the iCubs. Baseball is a lot of fun to watch.
Team this year. Fun team.
Yeah, we're pretty good. The prospects are really good. So they're a fun team to watch.
Sam, thanks so much. We'll catch up soon.
Okay, guys. Thank
you.
Appreciate it.
Sam Bernabe, the general manager of the Iowa Cubs. Man, 7 o'clock hour flew by, and it was a lot of baseball talk, but both interviews, fascinating. Just absolutely fascinating today.
That's what I've been looking forward to, man. I could talk to Sam, I feel like, for a couple of hours. There's so much history there. He's such an awesome wealth of information there. That'd be a fun guy to just pick the brain of. He's seen a lot of changes, man. From 1983 as an intern.
Well, and what you get, if you dive in deeper and look, people see Principal Park and they see the Iowa Cubs and all they think is baseball. What he just explained there was a much larger business model.
It's an arena. It is. It's a venue. And I'm glad we got to see that part of him of like, this is weird for me to say. I'd never thought of, and I guess I still don't think of Sam Bernabe as a promoter.
But he is.
But he is.
He's the Chris Connolly of Principal Park.
That's a good way to look at it. But again, and this is not a knock on those guys. I don't see Chris Connolly as a promoter either.
No.
But he is. Promote shows.
Yeah.
But he's a general manager of a venue. And I'm not just playing word games there. I know these guys enough to know that it's more than the P.T. Barnum selling stuff to you. It's a lot of hard work, man.
Well, and what I like about that is because the stadium's the perfect size. And what I mean by that, let's use where I live, right? I live in Omaha. I have a basically a Major League Baseball stadium that sits downtown. That essentially, now Creighton baseball plays there, but they get like 1,000 people a game. It's essentially used for 12 days out of the year. They've tried concerts, they've tried things, but it just doesn't work. You have a stadium that seats 27,000 people, and it's only used 12 days out of the year. Now, you're going to say, well, Creighton baseball plays there. They do, but it's not an attraction like a beer fest, like a music festival. And they've done music festivals, but I think what Sam's doing here, you're using kind of local bands. Pork Tornadoes is in Iowa, and you don't have to bring in big acts to get people to go drink beer and listen to music.
$15.
Yes.
$15. You want to watch 4 country acts for $15? A lot of people are like, well, yeah, don't even tell me who they are. I'll go see them.
Yeah, just
hang out at Principal Park on a beautiful day, be down on the field or whatever that looks like.
But it's a reminder that it is a business model, not a baseball team.
Yeah.
And people in Des Moines should be happy about that, because you're looking for ways to drive revenue and give people a different experience that just doesn't always have to be baseball.
I was so glad when you asked about the bananas thing, and his answer, because as soon as you said that, I wrote down Max Paxton, San Diego Chicken. Because as a little boy going down there, I remember those things. Like, was it the reason we went to Principal Park or Sec Taylor Stadium? No, we went down there for the baseball and the connection to the players and all that stuff. But when Max Paxton and the San Diego Chicken were there, those were special nights.
Yeah, because the Chicken brought up the poster of Farrah Fawcett. You're like, yeah, give me the poster of Farrah Fawcett. That's what I remember about the Chicken. But the difference there was they were in between innings. You got real baseball and you got the entertainment. The Bananas, and I get it. And listen, they are selling out football stadiums. It's incredible. I get it, but I also go, it's not baseball.
It's barnstorming. It's entertainment, and that was, again, back to what Sam said. It's all about entertainment dollar. And if your entertainment dollar is going to baseball, that's a good thing for baseball.
All right. Wow. I told you it'd fly by fast today, and it flew by fast.
Only thing that sucked about this show was that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 rabbit holes open.
Can you save them for tomorrow?
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. We'll see, he says. All right, folks. Tomorrow, Chuck Long's scheduled to join us. I got to follow up with Chuck today just to make sure we're on board, but it'd be good to catch up with Chuck. And Friday, we got a special guest coming on as well. I'm not going to release that till tomorrow because I'm getting confirmation today.
Good.
For Ross Peterson, I'm Travis Justice. We will be back tomorrow, 6 a.m. on the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Spring is here, and so are spring pests. Whether it's birds in your dryer vent, raccoons in your chimney, squirrels in your soffit, ants in your kitchen, or bats in your attic, with over 20 years of experience, Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions can help. Call us today at 515-218-3400 to schedule your inspection and see how Bats and Bugs can help prevent your home from becoming their home.
Hi everyone and welcome to May. It's finally starting to feel like spring. I'm John Lanera, sales manager here at Willis Lexus, and this month we've got some great specials. We have interest rates as low as 3.79 on select models, and if you prefer to lease, we have $1,000 of lease cash on RX, $2,000 on ES and ES Hybrid, and $2,500 on NX Gas. And don't forget, this month we've got the Principal Charity Classic coming on, so expect to see you guys out there. I invite you to stop out and take a look, or visit us online at willislexus.com.
Largest selection of German beer in the world, you'll find it at the Hessen House. From Doppelbocks to Oktoberfest to Hefeweizens and Dunkels, there's no passport needed for the deliciously different beer and food at the Hessen House. So grab your friends and make it a fun night out. The Hessen House, 4th and Court, Des Moines.
You know, Brian, at Central City, we really do have the best selection around.
I know, high quality stuff you can't find anywhere else.
Whistle Pig Plantation Rum.
Yeah, and over 150 of the best scotches on earth.
And a ton of bitters, mixers, and more.
You know what we are? High class.
Definitely high class, yeah.
Make way for the natty.
Okay, maybe medium class.
Central City Liquor is home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the Wooden Nickel program.
Back like a rash you thought was gone. Travis and Ross aren't contagious, but they are addictive. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.